Good day, YouTube. It is the 10th of September, 2024. And this video is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be about cast iron. I have a real passion for cast iron cookware. I used to collect it to an extreme. When I decided to pare that collection down, I sold over 200 pieces of cast iron, and much of it went to gentleman we call Cast Iron Charlie, who wrote the collector's book on cast iron. He came here to my shop 3 or 4 times and bought bunches at a time. He was an active buyer, seller, reconditioner, if you will, of cast iron. I learned a lot from Charlie. He has passed away at this time, quite a few years ago actually. Super guy. I liked him a lot, and he probably helped me, gain this passion for cast iron. What we're looking at here are number 10 skillets, or 12-inch skillets. These are going to measure between like 12 and a quarter, 12 and a half inches, depending on the manufacturer. If it has a number on it, they'll be written here, and it will say 10. So, for example, like a number 6 skillet is roughly an 8-inch skillet. A number 8 skillet is roughly a 10-inch skillet. A number 10 is roughly a 12-inch skillet. And a 12 is roughly a 14-inch skillet. So, I now have this big passion also for baking bread, and I got real into baking sourdough bread and doing dinner rolls and cinnamon rolls and that kind of thing. In my gas oven behind me, I actually have room for 4 12-inch skillets, so I can bake, and I bake in cast iron. All my baking I try to do in cast iron, especially my rolls and such. My favorite skillet right here, by the way. So one batch of bread, sourdough, rolls, and or cinnamon rolls will work in a cast iron skillet. Now I use a Dutch oven for doing bread, but I use skillets for rolls, cinnamon rolls, and that kind of thing. And one batch perfectly fits in one skillet. So, for example, we had a big family potluck on Friday, and I made 1, 2, 3 skillets of sourdough dinner rolls, but I had room in the oven for 4, and my rolls didn't last more than about 10 minutes at the potluck, so I wish I could have made 4 pans, but I didn't have a 4th 12-inch skillet. So I went on the hunt, and I found one. I found it yesterday, and basically, she's got good bones. It's a good skillet, but it needs to be stripped and re-seasoned. Now, back 15, 20, 25 years ago, I used to do this a lot. I have stripped and seasoned hundreds of cast iron skillets, etc. And this one really needs to have that done. This is beyond cleaning and fixing. We did this one on a video not too long ago where I just cleaned it with oil and rock salt and then re-seasoned it, but it has a lot of goo on the sides of the skillet. This has been baked on for years. This is a great skillet, and I'd love to redo this. Here's the deal: I used a couple plastic totes to soak these skillets in back in the day. I still had them there upstairs here at the barn, but I hadn't used them in years, 5, 6, 7 years. I've decided to clean those out and get them filled back up again so that I can fix skillets like this. Here's the deal. Probably the cheapest skillet on the table right here, these 3, for me was about $60. You can pay to the moon depending on if you get a Wagner or Griswold and depending on condition. For me, it used to be about Wagner and Griswold. For me today, it's all about condition. Is it a nice heavy one? Is the bottom flat? is it's smooth as silk. And these check all those boxes. They're not named brands. They're not branded on the rear. I don't care that anymore. I'm not collecting brand names anymore. I'm collecting very good condition skillets. This one checks the boxes as well, but it is, I mean, it has been used and used and used. Nothing wrong with that. It's in great condition. The bottom's flat. The bottom is smooth. It's a nice heavy cast iron. It's maybe not quite the quality of this one, but you know what? That's what I paid for it. $15. Now I had to drive 3 towns over to get it. I don't care. I wanted a fourth one. They're difficult to come by, and for $15 I can make money on it, but not in this condition. Not that I would sell it, but not in this condition. So I'm going to take you through how I used to do things, as far as how I got rid of all of this black cooked on grease, fat, oil, dirt, etc. Get rid of the rust, and then go through a seasoning process. We're going to end up with a skillet that's 100 years old but brand new. Okay, I'm going to take you upstairs and show you how I used to do things and how we're going to do things again. Alright, it's a complete disaster up here anymore, but I had 2 totes up here. One of them I just dragged down this morning. We'll get there, don't worry. This one is full of a very concentrated lye and water solution. Okay, I was thinking these things would be empty by now because I haven't touched them in 5-6 years. That is, the black in there is the grease, dirt, grime off of 200-300 pieces of cast iron. I even unearthed a few pieces sitting over here that I evidently never got to. Maybe we'll do those. So what you'll find is you can soak it in lye overnight, pick it out the next day, and just kind of clean it off. And then you need to put it into a solution of about 50% white vinegar and water. And because what you'll find is underneath the black, you'll find rust. So the lye will take off all the black. The vinegar and water will take off all the rust and neutralize the lye. Okay? When you take it out of the vinegar and water, you've got to wipe it down very quickly and oil it immediately, or it'll rust in front of your eyes. It's like a brand spanking new cast iron skillet, brand new, not a blemish probably, and it's amazing. But you got to dry it, get the water out of it quickly, and then oil it quickly, and then go right to seasoning it. Okay, so I packed down the tote that had my vinegar and water solution. Again, 50% white vinegar and 50% water, roughly. And it was so heavy, I bailed the liquid out of it and took them down in buckets. But the tote was so heavy because at the bottom, after 200 or 300 different pieces of cast iron that I had cleaned in that, was all the rust. And I've left that in there. I wanted to show it to you. Hang on, let's go downstairs and just do that. So yeah, one of my buckets. All right, here's the 2 buckets of liquid. They're kind of settling out. The heavies will settle to the bottom, and we'll reuse this. I was kind of asking my wife, does vinegar really ever go bad? Because quite honestly, that vinegar is 20 years old and it hasn't been used in 6, 7, 8 years, but it still smells like vinegar and water, so I think we'll use it. So we'll let that settle out while we clean out the muck out of the bottom of the tote. And it's a mess. It's still heavy and there's hardly any liquid left in it, but so you can see the goo. And again, that's from about 300 skillets. That's just rust that the vinegar and water has dealt with. So I like these totes enough to clean them out. What else am I going to do with them? So I've got a heavy duty garbage bag. I'm going to pour this out so I can throw it in the garbage. And to clean this toad out, I'm going to take those 2 buckets. This still has, as far as I'm concerned, usable vinegar and water in it. And then I've been to Costco and got a couple gallons. We may only need 1 at the moment. We'll see. Here's what I picked up. So I got 2 gallons of white distilled vinegar. This is at Costco. Is about $6.50 for the 2. And then this is basically drain cleaner. I looked up on the internet what drain cleaner is. 100% lye. And at Home Depot, this was one of them. This was about $22.50 for a gallon. How much would that make? Probably 5 to 10 gallons. And I would imagine I can reuse a bunch that's in my tote upstairs yet. And in that tote, I'll empty it so that I can clean the tote, start over, sort of fresh. But remember, this is lye. This will eat your fingers off your hands, so you have to treat this with respect. I mean, it's like an acid, so you've got to be careful with it. Safety glasses, rubber gloves, the whole deal, right? So don't fiddle with that. It's not a toy, but it's sure effective for stripping cast iron. There's other ways to do it. People spray oven cleaner on them. You don't want to use abrasive sandblast, that kind of thing. You'll take that nice smooth surface that it does have and make a porous surface out of it. And if you're going to do that, you just will go out and buy a new one. And you could go out and buy a brand new one and give it to me, and I'll give it away. I won't have it. They are not a smooth surface skillet. Some of the Dutch ovens I have are kind of like that. It's not such a huge deal in a Dutch oven, depending on what you're cooking in it. But when asked, like my new cabinet, I'm lining it. The shelves, I just got it yesterday, day before. I have a lot of Dutch ovens, and it's hard to get old ones, but that big 17, that's old one. Some of these are old ones. There's a Griswold right there, but some of these are newer too, and they're very porous. Kind of is what it is, but depending on what you're making, you're not like flipping food over and stuff. But if you get them good and seasoned, they'll be fine. But I get it. But old cast iron has a smooth finish on it. Okay, it was just made different. And the cast iron, Charlie said the new stuff is made out of recycled sewer pipe, and the old stuff was made out of virgin cast iron. That's the difference. But these are beautiful. This one will be beautiful soon. So let me take the time today to get those totes cleaned out. I'll bring you back when I'm ready to just kind of pour this stuff back in, and then we're going to get this skillet soaking. Or we're going to go through the process on just this skillet of getting the black off, get the rust off. So black off in the lye solution, get the rust off in the white vinegar solution, and then we'll get it clean, we'll get it oiled, we'll get it seasoned. We'll probably season it twice, and we'll use it. Okay, here we go. All right, I got that tote cleaned out as good as it needs to be. I put the liquid back in that I had bailed out, and we're going to put the new vinegar in right on top of it. If I can figure out how to get it open. Here we go. All right, one down. So this works for other rusty metals also, folks. So if you're restoring old tools or old car parts or whatever that are rusty, you can soak it in here as well. I did For example, I had a Studebaker some years ago, like 4 of them. And one of them, the window channel went to heck. I got a used one from a used parts guy, and the window channel was a little rusty. So I took the whole window with the window channel on the bottom, and I just stuck it into here. I came back in 8 or 10 hours or something and just wiped it clean. I put some paint or something on it to protect it, and it was good to go. So yeah, if you've got other things that are metal that have rust, corrosion, and such on them, this is just as good for that as it is for cast iron. Okay, I'm gonna go get that other tote out, which I had to empty my buckets so I could bail it out. So that's gonna be a bit. I'll catch you when I get it down here. All right, I got the other tank out of the upstairs. Got the 2 buckets of contents ready to go back in. Yeah, it's super black, but it isn't gonna take long to make it super black. I assume it's still working. So we're gonna put it back in, add a gallon to it, and then put some water in it. So I used to do, half a dozen skillets at a time. So that's why the big vessels. But if you're doing smaller batches and small pieces, obviously you don't need this much. But I think I had used a crystal version of lye before, and I didn't find that same version. So this is the first time I've used a liquid, so I'm not really sure what we're doing here. I think about 1 gallon of liquid to 3 gallons of, 1 gallon of lye to about 3 gallons of water. Should be a pretty good ratio. But we'll see how this works. It won't take long. This is what we're gonna let soak overnight tonight. So gloves and glasses, let me put this stuff on you. Right, water. Probably good enough. Rinse out these buckets. Yeah, forget. Okay, I'm gonna go grab that skillet. We're going in. All right, so here's that skillet. I mean, this is gonna be the close-up view. Look at how cruddy it is, especially on the sides. And this is what the lye will get. I don't know if if one overnight is going to be enough. It's almost 4 o'clock, so we'll check this at 8 or 9 in the morning. I tied a rope on it, so we don't have to go down in there in the morning. Okay, throw that there. Find my lid. We'll close them up. We'll see you tomorrow. All right, it's the next day, and it's been raining. Let's check the skillet, see what it looks like. I got some other things going on, so I think we're just going to look at it no matter how good it is. We're putting it back in for now. But I noticed that, I have this mule tape as a rope, and you can see that it has wicked the solution up it. That's interesting. Okay. All right, I'll bring this over a little closer. You can see that it has worked its magic. Oh my gosh, yeah. It's just coming off like that. Still stuck around the edges here. I think we'll throw it in for another day. Even the sides. If you were to wipe that with a Scotch-Brite, you'd get 80% of it. Look at the inside. Yeah, it's all coming off. This would be good on the inside. Let's throw it in there for another day. Take it out tomorrow. We'll be able to deal with it. Coming along nicely, I would say. We'll see you tomorrow. All right, it's day 2 on the skillet. Let's get it out of the lye and water solution. You can see we got some rain last night. So, is this ready yet? It's coming off pretty good. I could probably clean this from here. Maybe we should scrape some of this off and see what we got. Let me set it here for a second. Okay. This area is still pretty packed in there. Okay, So we're gonna put it in for another day, but look what I uncovered. It says Sydney. I'll show you a little more about that. And number 10. So 10. Number 10 is a 12-inch skillet. So again, it's very, very stuck right in here, but we knocked it off a layer, so the lye should be able to get to it pretty good. It's pretty good around the edges, but it's got a ways to go, and we're gonna make this perfect, so there's no sense in hurrying this. Let's put it back in. Check on it tomorrow. I am putting it bottom side up this time too. Might help. Okay. So if you've ever seen it, this is basically the book of cast iron collecting, the book of Griswold and Wagner, with Favorite Wapak Sydney, which we just discovered what we have, Sydney Hollowware. Okay, buried underneath decades of grit, grime, and grease. If you flip forward, this is a few pages dedicated to Sydney Hollowware Company, and anyway, nothing super collectible. This is a kind of a synopsis of what Sydney was all about and some values and different types of skillets. So this is a similar skillet. This one may be older. It's a number 8. Got a heat ring on it, which ours says 2. Ours says Sydney up here. Doesn't quite match, but it will give a value of like this skillet in different sizes. Ours being a number 10 or a 12-inch skillet has a value of around $60. So and that's kind of what we see. The market looks like it's coming up right now. Maybe there's more people getting into it or something. So anyway, a little more to the story. This book was written by David Smith and Chuck Wofford. Chuck lived not too far from me. This is Chuck here. I'll give you a little close-up. I used to collect cast iron big time, and his nickname was Cast Iron Charlie. He's been here at my shop many times buying cast iron from me as I pared my collection way down. I sold over 200 pieces. He probably bought, I don't know, 60, 75, some whatever pieces. Anyway, I got the book from him. I had him sign it, and I have a picture of him here in my shop. This is kind of reminding me of that. I should go into my pictures and grab that picture and get a copy made and put it with my book. I think I'd like to do that. Chuck passed away maybe 8 years ago, 6-8 years ago, something like that. And he was older, obviously, even when he wrote this book, and when he was here, I thought it would be pretty cool to remember Charlie by getting his picture here. So I did. I might have to go get that printed today while I'm thinking about it. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Or send some stuff to Walgreens, had them printed. This is when I first decided to start selling off my collection. I set out, I believe it was 140 pieces, and I think it was the first time that Cast Iron Charlie came to the shop. But anyway, I mean, those are just stacks of skillets, right? This is from the other end. There was some aluminum pieces there as well. Not the greatest picture in the world, but there's Cast Iron Charlie and me. I don't remember what year it was. My picture's probably dated, however, but this was quite a while back. Anyway, glad to have taken that picture for Charlie. Great guy, businessman, no doubt. Coming to financial terms on some of these sales was quite the challenge, but I respect him for how he handled it. When I asked him to put a price on it, he goes, "I can't sell it and buy it." So I will never forget his term for that. I can't sell it and buy it. I'm not a seller and a buyer. I'm a buyer. You're the seller. You put a price on it. And anyway, we'd go round and round, and he would never leave with as much as I hoped that he was going to leave with. When I set out 140 pieces, that first time he may have taken 14. But he was also fussy. He wanted, good quality stuff because that's what he was known for. So, fine by that. But he was here a number of times. After that, he'd just call out of the blue because we were constantly out there buying antiques. My wife and I were part-time antique dealers at the time, so we were constantly buying stuff. So he'd check in periodically if I had some stuff worth stopping for, if he was going to be in town. He lived about 45 miles or so south of us, right off the freeway, not too far. So yeah, it wasn't too bad for him to come. In his later years, his son would drive him here, and would do that. Anyway, a fun little throwback. All right, it's the next morning. We're gonna pull this skillet back out, have a look at it. I did pull it out last night and scrape on it before I left here, hoping that we'd be good to go this morning. See what we got. Some of this stuff's just a little sticky still. It's almost gone, but it's not quite. The edges are good. The skillet bottom is good. Okay, I'm gonna scrape on this for a minute, and we'll just, I'll bring you back. So I rinsed it off with water, moved it over here. These are wire brushes that I use exclusively for skillets. So they don't have automotive gunk on them. We're gonna try just lightly to get this black off of here. I don't want to leave wire wheel marks on it. Man, I don't know what's on there, but it's really nice. I don't know. Really hard. Let me fiddle with it for a minute. All right, I think what we're down to is a bit of rust, and that'll come out in the next tank. Okay. Hopefully. Okay, I really want this to come out nice. So I think we're gonna run our fingers across this thing, make sure all the gook is off of it. Wow, what a great surface this has. Got a little bit right there. Hate to get that aggressive with it, but we've been soaking this for days. It's definitely one of the worst ones I've done. Again, there may be some rust here, and that's why this stuff is so stuck there. I really wish it'd come off. Okay. I'm gonna fiddle with this for a little while. Alright guys, I found something that works. I grabbed a razor knife and I'm kind of taking a layer off, then I'm hitting it with a wire wheel. It's just in this one spot. It's just really, really tough, but we're getting there. It's not going to be a perfect skillet because it's got some fire damage right there, but go at it from different directions. It is just so stuck. I thought it was rust for a minute, but it's not. No longer feel it, so probably gonna call that. Probably gonna call that good. Okay, just gonna run around here, make sure we got nothing hanging on this lower edge. And then we're going to put this in the vinegar and water solution. We need to neutralize this lye, right? You don't want to cook with that. And that vinegar and water will do that. And we'll take it out later today. There's little to no rust on this skillet. It is in fantastic shape on the bottom. Nice and flat, but when we take this out, it's gonna be like virgin cast iron, you know. So let's go put it in the vinegar and water tank. And 12 hours is a long time for a tank like that. A few hours should be good enough for this. Again, we just soak this in lye for 3 days. You don't want to cook with it like that, okay? I got some other stuff in here, but This thing should be fine. Okay. We'll get her back out of there. Later today, we're gonna finish up that skillet. We're gonna season it. We're gonna make it ready to use. Here we go. All right, boys and girls, it's 5 o'clock-ish. Let's see what we got. There we are. Now what you see is kind of a bare cast iron. Okay. What we need to do is wash this off, oil it up, and quick. Here we go. Okay. Little sink time. I wonder if I can undo this. Yeah, we're up here. Here we go. Okie dokie. Sorry, my hands are, you know, stuff there. Where can you get the best view? How about over here? That'd be awesome. Okay. Yucky. Put my Dollar Tree bag over. Okay, now it's oil it time. Okay, we can throw the oil on this because we can wipe off the excess, but time is of the essence. We don't want this thing to rust in front of our face. Okay. Hello. Now when we put this thing in the oven, which we're going to do, I got the oven heating up. You don't want excess oil on it, okay? I'd rather do it twice than have too much oil on it, okay? So we've got it oiled. It's not going to rust at this point. We can breathe a little. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to start wiping off some of the excess. when we put it in the oven, we'll put it cook side down in case there is excess that wants to burn off. It can burn off into the oven there. But we're wiping this down pretty good, so. Okay. So let's throw it in the oven. I'm going to oil this just a little more, actually. You can see it soaked it in, it dried out just a little. So 450 for about an hour, okay? You're just gonna start burning this oil off. You can see it really soaked in around that rough area in the middle. 450 for about an hour, okay? And we'll no doubt have to do this one a couple times to make it good. Ooh, yeah. All right. We're gonna let that cook for an hour. We'll come check on it, take it out. We'll let it dry coolly. We'll let it cool slowly, just like we're letting it warm up slowly. I just turned the oven on, so it's just getting warm in there. You don't want to heat it quickly, cool it quickly, all that stuff. You know, metal expands, contracts. We don't want to break anything. Okay, checking in on you a little bit. It's done. I kicked the oven off about a half hour ago. I ran to the store actually, and to kind of let it cool a little. It's still gonna be hot as heck, but we're gonna give this a second coat, put it back in, go again. Might as well turn the oven back on. Another 450. Okay. Really sucked it in some places, so we'll oil it up some more. Paper towels. Now don't touch that, baby. You're gonna regret it. Oh yeah. It's on there a little thick now. That's fine. Put on my mitt. All right, back in the oven. You'll come out till you're done, buddy. Restart timer. See you back in 59 minutes and 58 seconds. All right, I pulled it out of the oven and I oiled it. I shut the oven off, let it sit about 15 minutes or so, and yeah, that's what we got. So we're gonna let it cool off here tonight. We're gonna come back sometime next couple days and we'll give it a final little deal that I do on my cast iron. It is newly seasoned, and we'll make this so it'll cook good, okay? All right, that's 2 times seasoned in the oven. She's looking real good. catch you in a couple days. All right, boys and girls, we fast forwarded to Sunday morning. This is the final step to make a skillet, a good skillet to cook with. Kind of a more of a non-stick kind of thing. Yep, cooking bacon. This is actually some just cheap bacon I got at the Dollar Tree. It was in the $3 section, but I say cooked cheap bacon, you know, with a kind of more fat in it. The whole idea is, you know, exercise this skillet and get the bacon grease happening there. It's going to be awesome. Shop's going to smell wonderful here shortly. It's still kind of frozen though. That's alright. We just dumped the whole thing in there. So we're going to cook up this bacon. We're going to cook it on just low heat, right? We don't want to go crazy. We're just going to cook it for a long time. So I don't care if this takes an hour. It's been a while since I've done it, but we'll cook up this bacon and we'll have some good sandwiches here for a couple days or something. Alright? So I'll check back with you when we got the bacon all cooked. And we're going to hang this skillet up with the rest of the big boys. I got the big boys on this side, the 12 inchers. And this is going to be awesome. I posted something on the groups page for sourdough, because I make sourdough rolls and such. And they were asking about mixers. Well, I'm a big KitchenAid fan. My wife has a KitchenAid at the house. I have a KitchenAid here at the barn. And I had 3 bowls for my KitchenAid mixer. And what I need, I have, you know, extra appliances, attachments, whatever. What I need is one more, because I set all my bowls out and put all my mixes and everything, and then I stir and knead them one at a time. So while one's working, I can stretch and fold and kind of make everything happen, and then pull that one out and put the next one in. Rather than doing multiple batches and putting a real load on your mixer, I do them one batch at a time, and one batch fits in my 12.5-inch skillets perfectly. And of course I can get 4 of these in my oven. So we're getting there. We're getting there. All right. I'm cooking bacon for a while. I'll check back with you a little while. Smelling good though, I'll tell you. Well, bacon is coming along. Yeah. Cheap bacon. Actually, some of this stuff is like your big chunks of ham on the end of it. It's just sliced poorly or whatever. Anyway, yeah. Bacon is happening. The pan is getting broke in. It'll be user-friendly shortly. Alright, I'll continue to make bacon. Alright, the bacon baking process is over. Tastes pretty good actually for, you know, cheap bacon. So I actually dump off my grease into my wood stove, and it'll burn off in there and make the fire smell good. Let me do that. Alright, now we've got a real messy skillet to clean. We're gonna put a little water in here. Now this skillet's still pretty hot. It's only been off for a few minutes, and we were, you know, only cooking on low, but we're gonna add water very, very slowly off to the edge where it's the coolest. Okay, again, very, very slowly, so we can draw some of that heat out of there. Got some yard sale finds in my sink. Okay. Dump that off. Cast iron is porous, so everything you cook in it is going to leave a little something behind. Therefore, you never put soap in your cast iron. unless you enjoy the flavor of it. Okay, so now we got water in there. We're just gonna, low to medium heat. We're gonna kind of get this soaking and kind of cooking off all that dried on bacon and so forth. Just be real gentle. Take your time. This is the messiest thing you'll probably clean up out of your skillet, but again, take your time. You have one of these plastic scrapers. Let me reach past you here. It's a good opportunity to get those out. You don't want to scrape that with metal because you'll scrape off your seasoning. That won't be good. Okay. And this is really the first stage of making your skillet something that you'll use every day. It'll just get better and better and better as you cook with it and as you care for it. You don't abuse it. I like to say to people on the groups pages that are asking, what's the best cast iron to get? Well, old cast iron is the best to get. And if you bought one as in bad a condition as this one was, it's your opportunity to make it great. And then at the end you end up with something, I say, heirloom quality. This is something you pass down to your kids and grandkids and so forth. So this is good stuff here. You can't buy this good of cast iron that I have seen new today. You've got to go back 60, 80, 100 years to get something decent. All right, let me dump this out, put some more water in it, and we'll get it heating up again. All right, that little bit of water's kind of starting to boil there a little bit. Go through and scrape this off again. Say the sides of the skillet are a little rough. The bottom surface is really nice. Okay, so we're going to dump this. I'm going to wipe it out with a paper towel. I'll rinse it off a little bit. Sorry, I'm gonna reach in front of you. Would it be nice to have a camera person? That'd be awesome. Okay, my oil back here. Again, I just use inexpensive canola oil because you're going to want to leave this in an oiled condition, especially me when I only cook with this stuff occasionally. Right? So you want to leave it with an oiled finish. Okay. And my barn's not climate controlled or anything, so it sits around. And there we have it. This skillet is ready for daily use. In my case, it's ready for baking. Interesting project, right? Gave me an opportunity to revive my tanks, my lye and my vinegar and water for future skillets, I guess. So I hope this helped you out a little bit. We've got a great skillet. We're going to hang it up as soon as it cools off with my other 3. I now have 4, so I can do 4 batches of rolls. I can, dinner rolls. So I can do 4 batches of cinnamon rolls. Whatever I want to bake, I can now do 4 batches at a time, because when we get together for family potlucks and that kind of stuff, it's very expected that I bring the sourdough. And the one we just had a week ago, Friday, 9 days ago, I brought 3 batches and, gone in 60 seconds kind of thing. So got to bring up a little more. 1 more batch will be awesome. All right, guys, thanks for watching the video. Appreciate that. Thumbs up on the way out the door, please, so helps the YouTube. Hey, you can see my reflection in the bottom. Try that with a modern skillet. Helps the algorithm, present this video to others to watch. So we'll catch you guys on the next video. I'm gonna have me some bacon. Bye now.